Just gonna get right down to it. People who always talk about their transition piss me off. Now, I'm trans. Keep that in mind. I'm completely trans. I realize I'm human. I make mistakes. This channel is like literally one of the only places where I talk about my transition repeatedly. But I have a certain person here on my campus. I'm not gonna name any names because that's not professional. Just not cool at all. But let's just say that they never stop talking about their transition. Okay, so I'll see them in the cafeteria and they'll be like, hey Oliver, come here. And they'll just continue to talk about their transition and they'll corner me in the cafeteria. And it's not just them, but there's several other trans people that do it. Not necessarily here on campus, but in life. And it really pisses me off because I am trying my hardest to forget that I'm trans, and so they're triggering dysphoria by constantly talking about their transition. Now I realize that I should be proud of them for being open about their transition, but it's like literally suffocating. So people who are fixated in an LGBT universe at the news and events, and all they talk about are being gay and stuff like that. Pretty much, yeah. There's like people out there. Anyway, just people who are fixated on being LGBT. It pisses me off because there's like all this dysphoria about being LGBT for me that them talking about it constantly ticks me off. I mean, like, I'm not talking about like jokingly, ha ha ha, we're going to like get some rainbow, whatever, fuck it, rainbow sherbet at like an ice cream place because we're gay. That's fine, that's joking. But I'm talking about people who never stop talking about LGBT fatalities, LGBT controversy, stuff like that. It ticks me off. And that same person that I was mentioning earlier, they never stop talking about trans deaths, specifically transgender women deaths. And I realize that it is a problem, but I really don't want to hear about it at that moment in time, because at that moment in time, I am fixated on going to the cafeteria to go eat. So yeah, to that person, if they see this video, which hopefully they don't see it because I don't want them to get mad at me, just ease up a little bit. And people who are insistent upon me calling them by their preferred pronouns, so much so they are aggressive about it. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna go into, because if I go into it any further, then it will be more obvious who I'm talking about, and I'm not gonna do that. Okay, now I understand that Caitlyn Jenner took a big leap of faith because she came out as trans and she's a Hollywood person, and Hollywood people are under a lot of scrutiny anyway, and being trans or LGBT of any form and being in Hollywood is a kind of a tough situation, but I feel like she's not a valid spokesperson for the trans community because she hasn't done anything yet for the trans community. She won that Courage Award, and she said that trans people shouldn't have to deal with all the scrutiny that she's getting, etc. But she's not pushing it forward. She's not like building any homes for LGBT people. I would like to see a Jenner home for trans and LGBTQ youth, and it's not happening. So I just feel like she's not a valid person to represent the trans community. Okay, yeah, so that was really awkward. My roommate just came in and she was like, what's the tripod for? And I was just like, what? So I just feel like that Caitlyn Jenner is not a good face for the transgender community because she's not necessarily the worst of all cases. And I feel like it's like having a wealthy person being a spokesperson for an underprivileged community. For me, I tend to lay low about being trans because I just try to let on that I am a cisgender biological male because I feel like life is a lot less dysphoric that way. For me personally, people won't be constantly asking me about my transition if I just don't mention it. It's not like I'm not gonna want to talk about it. If somebody asks me a question about my transition out in public, I'll give them a short, simplified, easy answer that's true, not too complicated, and move on from there. I'll try not to fixate on that topic for too long in the conversation because I don't want to seem like that's all I ever talk about. Literally, this channel is like one of the only places that I continue to talk about my transition at length, but the majority of it is for other trans youth like myself, so yeah. I don't like reading books about trans people, not because maybe it's internalized transphobia, whatever, but it just bothers me to read trans books, not because I'm against the trans community by any means, but it's because it gives me gender dysphoria to constantly be thinking about me being trans. Transgender people generally try to forget about them being trans so it doesn't trigger anything. Yeah, didn't mean to seem very aggressive in this video, but I guess it kind of came off that way. I'm sorry if it did. Wasn't meaning to throw shade to the specific person that I mentioned multiple times in the video, but yeah. So I will see you guys next time. Bye! Subscribe.